Hi everyone, it's Kathy from CathyZilski.com, and today I'm coming to you on behalf of Scrapbook and Cards Today. I've got a video tutorial to show you how to use my 12 by 12 layered holiday template. Let's get started. The digital package contains a layered 12 by 12 template that you see here, and this is what we're going to work on today. I am going to use Photoshop Elements today for this tutorial. I am currently using version 13, but most of these steps apply to full Photoshop and all earlier versions of Photoshop. But first, let's talk for a minute about layered templates. A layered template is a lot like a stack of books. Every layer contains a piece of information. It's built in Photoshop, and you edit one layer at a time. Photos and digital papers and digital stamps, all of these things operate on their own layers within a template. And when you're done, everything all stacked together creates a fabulous digital scrapbook page. So let's get started and open the template. I'm going to go either Command on the Mac or Control-O, navigate and find the template. And here I've got it all set aside in one convenient package. It's the CZSCTHolidayTemplateTut. Go ahead and open this up. And what we're going to do is we're just going to move through element at a time and add things to the template. Now, there is always going to be more than one way to work in Photoshop, okay? That I will say straight up. I am not the end-all be-all expert, but I will show you how I approach templates. First thing you're going to do is start with a background. If you click on your background, it will highlight in the Layers palette. This is a key point in working with digital templates. Any layer that you wish to modify, you have to pre-select before you can add anything to that layer. So by clicking on a layer, you select it. Click, select. All right, one thing to note in tool options, you need to have auto select layer selected so that when you click on something, it highlights. In earlier versions of Photoshop Elements and in Photoshop Creative Cloud, you will find it in the upper left when you have the Move tool selected. So I start with background layer. I'm going to click on it to select it, and I'm going to go Command or Control-O to open. And now, for sake of speed of this video, I've got my papers all set aside, but I've got a craft colored paper called CZ Craft. I'm going to click Open. And now what will happen here, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to click down here in the photo bin. Some people like to open all their photos first and have them down in the photo bin. Of course, full Photoshop does not have a photo bin, okay? So that's going to be a difference between the two programs. I am not much of a photo bin user, but that doesn't mean you can't use this method to build your pages. Because what I like to do, what I find to be really quick, is learning the key commands. So here's our paper. And how do you select a paper? To get a highlighted selection, you go Command or Control-A. That selects all, and if you'll notice, there's marching ants around the edge. You see that? We call those marching ants. It means there's a live selection. And once you have that, you can copy. Command or Control-C to copy. Now I'm going to come back to my template. Because I've already selected my background, I'm going to go Command or Control-V. And there it is. It has pasted into the template. Now, what we usually do with layer masks, the areas that hold our papers and photos, is we clip our papers or photos into the layer below. It's very easy to do. I use the keystroke Command or Control-G. Now when I do that, if you look in the Layers palette, you will see the layer ticks over a little, right? That thumbnail's over, and it means that it is clipped in below. Of course, this will make a little more sense how this works when you see the papers come in. So let's do the first paper. I am going to click on the next target layer that is called Pattern Paper, and I'm going to go Command or Control-O. I guess this time I could open both the papers I plan to use, so I'm going to hold down my Shift key. And these are from the Merry and Bright kit. And I'm going to click open. I used the actual physical papers in my layout that you will see in the magazine this month. So I think it's kind of cool that they have the digital papers as well. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my original template here. I'm going to double click here on the thumbnail in the photo bin. And you'll see, I don't need a full piece of paper in that space, do I? I need about, it's like a 10 inches by maybe 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag a selection on my paper. So let me come down here. I'm going to double click on the green. And I'm going to come up here and grab my rectangular marquee tool, click on it, and I'm just going to click and drag. I'm going to go 12 inches by, like, if you look in your rulers, maybe 4.5. That's going to be plenty of paper to give me a little leeway to play. I'm going to let go, and I'm going to go Command or Control C to copy. I'm going to come back and click on my template tab, get my move tool, make sure this is selected, and I'm going to go Command or Control V to paste. Now, Photoshop by default will paste right in the center, no problem. I'm just going to click on this with my mouse and drag it up. Now, if you look in the layers palette, because I pre-selected, it's directly above pattern paper. The next step, clip it in. Now, I want to show you where this is on the menus, just in case you think, I like to go to the menus. If you go under the layer menu, you will see Create Clipping Mask, Command or Control G. When I release, it clips into that space. Now, this is basically the only thing you really need to embrace about digital scrapbooking is it's all clipping into layers that define the template. And then look, you can move all around within that shape. And if you go too far, you'll see the actual blank layer mask right below. But you can tweak it to get things lined up so they look how you like them and click away, sorry. All right, let's do another one, okay? I'm going to go back to Photo Bin, double click on my stripe paper, and I'm going to repeat the process. Rectangular marquee tool, click and drag a selection, Command or Control C to copy, go back to my template, click on my move tool, Command or Control V to paste, and there's that. Drag it down, Command or Control G to clip it in, and click away. And again, I can move this around to adjust it within the parameters of that layer mask. So let's add my photo. Pre-select, I call it the selfie here layer because this page is all about taking a holiday selfie. Command or Control O to open, and I'm going to go to last year's selfie. Open it, okay? And I want to show you another thing that you can do. Let's say you're not in the mood to Command or Control copy and paste. Another thing you can do when you've got any element open like this photo, if you click on it with the move tool, hold down your mouse, drag up to the free template tab, it will come to the forefront. Your mouse is still holding down and you drag into the document. Doesn't matter where, you just have to be below that ruler. And when you release, it will copy right into the center of the page. Again, it's right there. You can see the bounding box, okay? That shows the full photo. And if you don't see the bounding box, you have to make sure that you have Show Bounding Box checked. Again, it will be at the top in other versions of Photoshop. And I'm going to click it over here. And you see I can kind of move it around. I'm going to get it lined up as best as I can. And Command or Control G. And now that is clipped in. These are the basics for getting elements into the template. But now it's time to start changing some of the colors on the other elements, right? So let's start down here with the December 2014 tag. I'm going to hold down my Command key and my space bar. And when I do that, or my Control key, I get this lovely magnifying glass. And what this does is it lets me click and drag anywhere I like and release, and it will zoom me right in. And then when I let go, it goes right back to the move tool. Great little speed tip for Photoshop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little date flag. Now on top is a text layer, right? It's in Times, and you may not have this exact version of Times, but that's okay because you will just go ahead and change it to whatever font you like. You can leave that for now, but I'm going to click on the little date flag. Now, I want to choose a color that's going to work in this layout, obviously. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out to a full page view. Here's another shortcut, Command or Control numeral 0 gets you right back out to the full page view. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on the color picker tool, a little eyedropper. And I'm going to come over to where this word selfie is and click. I click once to take a sample of that area. And if you look over in the set foreground color area, the red is there. Okay, that's exactly what I want to do. Now I'm going to get my move tool back. A quick shortcut for that is to hit the letter V. And again, hold down the Command key and the space bar, zoom, and I zoom in just so you guys can see what I'm doing. Click on the date flag layer. Now I want to apply that color. Quickest way, go to Edit, down to Fill Layer. And what you're going to do here, you've got some options. Under Contents, we're going to choose foreground color because we just defined the color that we want. It's right there. And very key, you have to check Preserve Transparency. If you don't, it will fill the whole page with the color. And we just want to have just the pixels that we see on this layer that take up the shape of that date flag. We're going to fill those. Click OK. And voila, like magic, the color appears. Command or Control O, or 0, sorry, for full page view. And I'm going to zoom in here again, Command or Control space bar. I'm going to zoom into the journaling area. And again, let's click on this little bar here. Now you could clip paper into that, right? Or you could also add the color. So let's go back to Edit, Fill Layer. Now, I'm going to click Foreground Color and click Away, just to show you how quickly you can do that color. But what if you want to get a little more experimental? What if you say, nah, I don't want to keep going red there. I want to get that green from above. Okay, well, again, you would take your eyedropper tool, color picker tool, and just start clicking around till you get a green. See how that changed? Well, if I clicked over here, you'd see brown putty. Come back in. I think that green looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit V for my move tool again, click back here, and I'm going to repeat the Edit Fill Layer, click OK, and click Away. Of course, you could come in here and you can click on the snowflake art. You can click on the circle text. All of these things are editable, if you will. I have them set up to gray, but you can change the colors on any of those. Of course, the last thing you will do is you will get the horizontal type tool and you will come into your journal block and you will select all. I just click anywhere and go Command or Control A. Super quick way to highlight all your text. And then you can pick a font that you like. Again, I've got it set to, you know, let's look for the serif plain. I like this one. I'm going to click on that. And then you will type your journaling here. Of course, you only have, you know, a small amount of space here. And I'm going to say, I'm going to cancel that. Just undo it and pretend like that's words that actually work. But you'll have it all typed in there. And then go Command or Control O, or 0, sorry, once you are happy with the result. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to save this as a JPEG file. Why? Because when I do, click OK, I'm going to hit Save, okay, and click OK. What happens now, I'm going to open that file, Command or Control O, and open my JPEG. This file now has one flattened layer. And this is a file that you upload to a photo printer or maybe an online scrapbook printing page specialist. And this is the file that you send to them, and they send you back a gorgeous 12 by 12 trimmed print of your scrapbook page. These are the very basics of working with my holiday selfie template. And I hope you have fun trying it out. If you're new, go slow. You can always undo your work, Command or Control Z, or you can always close out the template and start again. Thanks everyone, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me at Kathy@kathyzelski.com. Thanks, and have yourselfie a merry little Christmas.